Why taxing the rich more is a bad idea, and how the flat tax is already fair. Imagine this. You're walking down the street in a small town. There's a bakery that's been in business for generations. It's a modest place, nothing too fancy, but the smell of fresh bread draws you in. Behind the counter is Mary, the current owner. Her family's been running this bakery for 50 years. She's friendly, always has a smile on her face, and most importantly, she hires half the town's kids for their first jobs. Now, let's say that Mary has a good year. She launches a new line of gourmet pastries, and suddenly business is booming. She's making more money than she ever thought possible. She's expanding, hiring more people, paying her workers better, and even offering health benefits. Everything's going great until she looks at her tax bill. It's huge. As Mary's income increased, her tax rate jumped to 45%, which is nearly double what she used to pay. That extra cash she was going to use to expand her bakery, hire more staff, and support her community, most of it is now going straight to the government. Suddenly, the expansion plans are on hold. She thinks twice about hiring anyone new. Maybe she'll even need to cut back on hours for her staff. What happened? This isn't just about a bakery in a small town. This is a story that happens over and over, across industries, and it all comes back to a simple truth. When you overtax the rich, you don't just hurt them, you hurt everyone. The simple math behind why flat tax is fair, let's break it down. Imagine there's a flat tax rate of 20%. It's easy to understand, right? Everyone pays 20% of what they make. The guy who makes $50,000 pays $10,000 in taxes. Mary, after her successful year with $500,000 in earnings, pays $100,000. That's 10 times more, even though they're both paying the same rate. This is what a fair system looks like. Everyone pays the same percentage of what they earn, but the more you make, the more you pay in real dollars. Sounds reasonable, doesn't it? If you're earning more, you contribute more, but you're not being punished for your success. After all, didn't Mary earn that success with her hard work, innovation, and risk-taking? Why should she be penalized just because she's doing well? This is why flat taxes make sense. When you treat everyone equally, you ensure that people who earn more still contribute more in absolute dollars, without punishing them for achieving success. When we punish success, we all pay the price now. Let's talk about what happens when we start raising taxes on people like Mary even more. Let's say the government decides that the rich should pay a higher rate because, well, they can afford it, right? So now, instead of 20%, Mary is paying 50% of her income in taxes. Suddenly, that extra $250,000 Mary earned doesn't feel like hers anymore. Instead of reinvesting it in her business, hiring more people, or donating to local charities, a huge chunk of it goes to the government. What do you think that does to Mary's motivation? It makes her think twice about expanding. It makes her second-guess taking risks. Maybe she won't hire that extra baker. Maybe she'll just stick to what she knows instead of trying something new. Why should she take on more stress and more risk if the reward gets slashed in half by taxes? And what about her employees? Without that extra income, she can't offer raises or more benefits. The community, which relies on Mary's bakery for jobs, doesn't grow as much as it could. Everyone loses when we punish success. The global talent drain. When wealth flees, so do opportunities. Now, imagine Mary doesn't just scale back. Imagine she starts thinking, why am I doing this here? In today's world, it's easy for business owners like Mary, or massive corporations for that matter, to move their money elsewhere. Countries like Switzerland or Singapore offer lower tax rates. Why wouldn't they move? This is happening around the world. France tried something called a millionaire's tax, and guess what? The millionaires left. When wealthy individuals and companies leave, they don't just take their money with them. They take jobs, investments, and opportunities. Mary might not move her bakery, but big corporations can and do. And the people left behind? They lose jobs, income, and economic growth. The government that hoped to raise more money through higher taxes ends up with less because the wealth they were counting on has simply packed up and moved away. This is the danger of overtaxing the rich. It might sound like a good idea on paper, but in reality, it drives away the very people who fuel the economy. Big companies aren't the villains. They're creating jobs. Now, let's talk about big companies, because they're always in the crosshairs when people talk about tax fairness. The image of the greedy corporation, dodging taxes and exploiting the system is powerful. But let's look at this a little closer. Take a company like Amazon. Yes, it's a giant corporation, and sure, people love to criticize it for not paying enough in corporate taxes. But Amazon employs over 1 million people. That's 1 million people who are paying income tax, payroll tax, and social security tax. Each one of those employees contributes to the government's tax revenue, and they do it because Amazon provided them with jobs. The idea that these big companies aren't paying their fair share ignores the fact that they contribute to the economy in other significant ways, by providing jobs, benefits, and opportunities. Those employees are buying homes, paying sales taxes, and spending their money in local economies. If we punish these companies with heavy taxes, they might not expand. They might lay off workers. And when that happens, it's not the CEOs who suffer. It's the regular employees who lose their jobs or see their hours cut. The wealthy already pay more than their fair share. Here's the kicker. The rich already pay far more than most people realize. In the US, the top 1% of earners pay nearly 40% of federal income taxes. The top 10%? They cover more than 70%. That's an enormous chunk of the tax burden resting on the shoulders of the wealthy. When people call for higher taxes on the rich, they often overlook this reality. The wealthy are already paying the lion's share. But if we keep demanding more from them, we risk driving away the very people who are funding much of the government's operations in the first place. Heavy taxation hurts the economy, not just the rich. At the end of the day, raising taxes on the wealthy doesn't just hurt them. It hurts all of us. When the rich and big corporations are overtaxed, they invest less, create fewer jobs, and scale back their contributions to the economy. That means fewer opportunities for everyone else. If we want a system that encourages innovation, growth, and job creation, we need a tax policy that doesn't punish success. A flat tax ensures that everyone pays their share, but no one is penalized for doing well. Think back to Mary, the bakery owner. She worked hard, took risks, and succeeded. She shouldn't be punished for that. And if we allow her, and others like her, to thrive, the whole community benefits. So, before we demand higher taxes on the rich, let's consider the bigger picture. It's not just about fairness, it's about building an economy that works for everyone. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. Let us know your thoughts on the flat tax debate in the comments below. Do you think a flat tax is fair, or should the rich pay more? Let's discuss.